Alrighty, welcome to IronTrap Garage Podcast. This is one of our audio-only podcasts. We do them every Sunday. So if you are listening, thank you for listening. If you are new to the IronTrap universe, we do videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. I had to think about it.
Said it a little weird day.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Friday, Sunday.
Yeah, Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. Our YouTube channel, we got like 1,000 plus videos of hot rodding stuff, finding old hot rods, building old hot rods, all kinds of stuff. So if you're new to all this, head to our YouTube channel. There's a ton of content to watch. And if you're not new, thanks for listening and watching. We appreciate it.
So today we are doing, like Mike said, our audio. Oh, is there any?
Oh yeah, Black Friday sales going on right now. Head to the website, 15% off everything. It's already set up and integrated, no code needed. Just head to the website, make a purchase. It'll show 15% off at checkout. Calendars are up for sale if there's any left. They went up on Friday and there's only 100. So if you're late to the game, we apologize. There's only 100. And the Ride With Us pre-sale is going on till tomorrow evening. So head to the website and snag that before it is over. It is pre-sale for that t-shirt. So once the pre-sale ends, we will order them and they will ship once we have them in our hands. Do not expect it to ship out right away.
And the Ride With Us design is actually like our first.
Yeah, first design we ever did.
First shirt design. It's since you're listening, it's like a 1920s or 30s era kind of like style cartoon that has a little cartoony devil driving a little free T or a little roadster, and it says, "Why the devil don't you ride with us?" So it's I got the idea off an old-timey postcard I saw that had a kind of similar thing, and we made a shirt design. So we're issuing them again after Moon's asking to come inside.
The door's open.
Even though the door's open, he suddenly can't open doors, even though he does it all the other time. So it was a design idea that I came up with from an old postcard. Our friend Eddie, who's a tattoo artist, hi Moon, drew it all. We offered the shirt for a while, and then we let it kind of just run its course. And then a lot of new people have joined watching the videos and the channel and have asked about, ow. I'm getting moshed by the dog. Oh, my God.
He was outside for 5 seconds, and he's like, ah.
Smack me in the eye with your tail, man. Can you sit down? Suddenly you got all this energy. So yeah, that's our spiel. Grab one of those shirts if you're interested. We may not print them again, or if we do, it probably won't be for quite a while. Selfishly, we're reprinting some of them so we can.
Yeah, Steve never got any of them, so he's like, I'll take a couple of those.
And I really love that shirt, so I would love to have some more of them.
Yes.
So somehow my shirts have all shrank. I haven't gotten fatter.
Not at all.
Definitely shrank. So today's topic
might ruffle some feathers.
I don't know if it'll ruffle feathers. I think it's a topic that is discussed a lot in person. I feel like when we like have friends hanging out at shows or different stuff, and I've had a lot of these discussions on a more serious note of like friends that have come to visit the shop one-on-one that kind of like bums, a little bit of a bummer or whatever. So we're talking about social media, which I know we do a lot of, but how it affects or has affected
the hobby.
Classic car hobby, I should say. We could make it probably a little more broad, or the car hobby in general.
Yeah.
How it's affected or how it affects, and our take on it. Because we get a broad spectrum of people that follow our content. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different than some of the other people that maybe if you're a younger guy doing a drifter channel or a pro street, or drag rate, a drag and drive channel, like the crowd might be a little different. Ours skews a little older, but we do get a lot of younger, people in their 20s that might watch our channel. So we get a wide spectrum of people and like their take on the social media thing. So we get the really old guys that are like, even though they watch us on YouTube, they hate social media. They don't understand it.
Our YouTube analytics are super funny because normally it shows you age brackets of who watches your channel, and normally YouTube channels, it's in the younger bracket. It's like 10 to 22 are real high. Ours is skewed the total opposite way. Our highest categories are like 40 to 66 plus.
Yeah.
And then it tapers off from there, where everyone else is like,
Do they have like a 66 to 100?
no, it's 66 plus.
They don't give a, because it'd be interesting to see on ours. I bet our
Break down even more. Yeah.
I think our 66 to 100 is probably even higher.
Oh yeah.
We definitely.
Everyone else's looks like a pyramid because it's real high in the middle. Ours is a slope because it's just real high on the end.
But we get a wide spectrum of people watching and talking to us and commenting and whatever. And everybody's take on it is kind of interesting. I think it has its good and bad points. And
with everything, yeah.
And we figured we'd give a little discussion about it. I struggle with it a lot myself with social media as I get older. But we kind of wanted to talk about some of the upsides and downsides and our take on some of it and how we navigate the social media realm with our pretty much our lives revolving around doing social media. So for us, I've found over the years, I've tried to separate my real life from social media life. And I think that's where some people are having difficulty, where they get real bummed out because of, this guy has this, this guy has, and we get it a lot. Like people comment about like we have all these cars and all this stuff and, blah, 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 and how successful you're. Like, it's all through you're looking through rose-colored glasses because there's a lot of people that are really good at pretending that their life is better or they're more successful or your own. I read it or heard it someone social media is like the highlight reel of your life. Not many people are talking about their failures or what isn't going right or their relationship that is failing. They're about to get divorced. They're just showing the new handbag they got.
The positives only.
So
I think it was Gary Vee that said that. I vaguely remember seeing a video where he said it's only the positives, never the failures.
Yeah, it's like, so over the years, I've tried to, with the channel, we've all tried to, we try and show our failures. And it's super humbling to show me mess up a panel or break a piece of glass on a really rare gauge. Like, we could easily edit that stuff out, but we actually make a point of showing our failures and talking about them.
Or me catching myself on fire.
Yes, yeah, like some of them are funny, it's like a blooper reel, but some of them are like we talk through some of the stuff and it's just like, oh, that didn't work as planned.
Intruder.
And then you have Steve that doesn't really do social media and he has his microphone covered with tape and he wears a tinfoil hat around. Yeah, so we like to show in our videos, it's kind of the opposite. We're trying to show a lot of the failures. Also, if you follow our channel, another thing that we've been trying to do, kind of starting in 2020, we also kind of document, which is, again, we're both fans of Gary Vee. I listen to a lot of that stuff, and he is if anybody that's not familiar, he's a very famous, social media person and businessman, and he talks about all this stuff. Anyways, documenting the process is something he beats in everybody's head. And when I was still at Eastwood and listening to a lot of his content, it kind of got into my head. So part of what we've been doing subliminally, we maybe don't do it as like hard sell as other people, is documenting the process of our business.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of showing the ups and downs and the difficulties of doing our business, which is really, if you're not aware, everything we're doing is really marketing our parts business. As much as I love sharing building cars, it is way easier and way quicker if I just didn't have social media and just built neat cars and drove them and hung out with my friends. All this other stuff is kind of like I don't want to say a necessary evil, but it is a part of the business that you need to do. And I think that was one part of social media that has helped me over the years, is like, this is just an outlet for the business. Like, I don't need to take everything so personally, So, but we've been documenting the process. So we've been showing the good, the bad, the wins, the losses as we've grown the business, and the difficulties. And I think it's helped with us, like, because we have a lot of people that kind of just assume things came a lot easier than they did. So when we show like these road trips where we fly in to buy something and it doesn't work out as planned, or it starts snowing or whatever the thing is.
And I think people enjoy seeing behind the scenes of how a business runs because every business is run differently, and our business is a very unique style of business. And the way that we run it is fairly simple. It's a very complex business, but we run it in a very simple manner. That's like, oh, that makes sense how you guys do that. It's like just very cut and dry. It may seem very complex, but the way that we do things is very super, super old school simple.
Yeah, and we and if anything we can show people in the videos. We did it with the 2020 challenge. Where that was our way of kind of breaking it down to like, here's
dollars and cents.
Yeah, this is the most simple way. And I definitely am not sympathetic with people that in this day and age that you can't, that you can't get ahead or you can't whatever. Like, not that you can't get ahead, but like if you have spare time, almost everybody has spare time, you can make a little extra money doing something in a small way. So we showed a way that we could do it with things we liked. I remember you and I had the discussion way back when, before we did the channel, when you were buying and selling, and I was kind of like,
yes,
find something you like, and that's what you buy and sell and flip, in your spare time to get free cash or do it.
Matt was my my big brother mentor for a little while because I went on I was buying and selling. He got me on the ins and outs of buying and selling and how to hunt and that kind of stuff. And I went through like a year and a half where I was buying and selling retro video games, and I paid my mortgage for like 2 years just buying and selling heavily. And then when my son Nate was born, I sold all of it and made like a crazy amount of money just from hustling off the internet.
But before you did the video games, it was kind of like we had that discussion where it was like, well, what do you like? What do you want to? What is it that you enjoy? And that's what you should try and buy and sell. Like that was what helped me, was the focus. Like, too many people are buying and selling everything. You're doing furniture. They're doing anything you could find on Marketplace to make $1. But it just ends up being scattered, and you're not focused.
And you went through that phase too.
Yeah, 100%. I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't efficient, and I was probably wasting and losing a lot of money because I was too spread thin with stuff. So, but anyways, we're documenting the process, and I think that's more of what we focused our whole entire channel and our social media, is less on the worrying about the very, very specifics of certain things, and more just showing the process. Whatever happens every week or we do, and that is what it is.
And the aim for perfection. I feel like social media has made everything seem like it needs to be perfect, because you have a lot of these guys that are really high-end coach builders that do perfect metalwork and perfect fabrication, and those dudes make mistakes too that they just may not show it, or their mistakes aren't as grandiose. They mess up a panel and it's a slight mistake and they can fix it and it looks perfect. But there's guys like me or even you that build hot rods, but the aim for perfection doesn't need for everyone. If you're building a hot rod to just drive, it doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be safe, but perfection is not something you need on a hot rod that you're just going to drive almost every day.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've noticed, and it happened to me, and I struggle with it all the time, is like looking at the people that you look up to or that do really, really nice work, or or whatever the thing is you're into. The skateboarder, if you're into skateboarding, that's really good, that you watch and you suck and you can't do that. You can't even kickflip, but this dude's doing kickflips down 30 stairs, like whatever. So like for us in our world, you watch these guys that the metal shaping or metal fab or building an engine comes super natural to them, and you kind of like get bummed out. And I used to get that way, like obsessing over the metal fab stuff, and my skills weren't where I wanted them to be. And then you got to take a step back and realize that some of these people that I am friends with, or I've met, or I've taken classes with, or whatever, they've devoted their life to the thing. And I started to realize, do I want to devote my life to just being a sheet metal fabricator, or doing just coach building type of work? I think that if I put my mind to it, I probably could focus and go all in and be decent. But in the end of the day, I kind of realized I more like the whole process, back to the process of finding the stuff, selling the stuff, fixing the cars, driving the cars, and that whole process of putting a car together. So I say it a lot. One of the things I say is I want to build a lot of cars. I don't want to build one car in my lifetime. So there's some guys that will build one car. It's the car. It's perfect to them, and they're refining it and changing it throughout their whole lifetime. It's like, I want to build a car, refine it a little bit, drive it, and then maybe move on to the next one, because the process of finding and building is important to me. So when you're trying to do multiple cars in your lifetime, a lot of cars, you're going to have to turn down your quality or accept your quality at some point. And I think I've gotten my quality to a point where I can turn it up and turn it down. So for instance, we did the firewall for the 33 recently. I turned my quality up. So I spent a lot of time TIG welding every hole shut, planishing and hammering and dollying and making that thing as close to perfect as it could be for, my skill level. And I'm very, very happy with it. It took
a long time.
2 weeks.
Yeah, and there was a lot of process before that, even making the buck to test.
And that's my struggle, is my patience.
Well, it's not even just your patience even too, because unfortunately we do 3 videos a week still.
Yeah.
So we still have to feed the machine content, and sometimes that your not perfectionist, but your ability to take your time takes a back seat, because we have to pump out the content.
And that's been a struggle for me, and
which is the downside to social media.
Yeah, and that's when you become serious that you're doing it for a business or for a result. That's where it becomes a problem. So if you're just doing this as a hobby and you're sharing what you're working on, well, if it takes you 2 weeks to build something and then you put that one photo up on Instagram, it doesn't matter. You were working every day. You're making money. But for us, putting out videos and the content is part of our process. So some of our take on this is a little different than others. But one thing I know, that talking to friends and some of my close friends that we have one-on-one conversations, it's like they struggle with they're not where they want to be, or they don't have the thing, and other people do. So like we have some close friends that work normal day jobs, and it's not where they want to be. And they've been friends with us since when this channel first started. They've seen us grow, and now it's their full-time job, and they want to do the same. And maybe they live far away that they can't exactly, work with us or for us, but they're trying to do their own thing. And it's like, I'm just trying to be their cheerleader and give advice and do that stuff. And they know that it's a grind to do that, but like, it's a struggle when it's just you, like just one person trying to grow something like that by yourself. Like,
yeah, luckily Matt and I working together from the very start has always worked out very well for us, because it's, we know a lot of people with YouTube channels that do literally both ends of it. They do the work, they're filming it, they're editing it, they're doing all the stuff behind the scenes. And we were very lucky to work together to basically split the relationship. Matt does all the on-camera and a lot of the filming, and I do all the post-production, and it splits the responsibility between 2 people, so it's not all on one person's shoulders.
So, and I think if you're going into this process trying to make money, I think that's where people struggle, because they're comparing what other people have done or are doing to where they're at. I had a leg up on a lot of average people for starting social media stuff and doing an online presence, because I've literally, since the beginning of the internet and social media, I've been doing this. I mean, before I worked for Eastwood, I was posting on forums and was running my own business, buying and selling. I was doing the same thing on a smaller platform. So like, I have,
10 years.
More than that, probably 15 years or 20 years of using the internet and doing social media. And as social media became a thing, what we know of it today. But like, so that makes it tough for people. I think they see that and they want this, they start something and they want it to just happen. And it's really hard to do that. But like, I think the good part of social media is how easy it is to connect with people in the hobby that are like-minded.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that like I was sitting back thinking about this the other week when we discussed doing this topic, and like I was thinking about all the handful of friends that we've met that I knew on the internet, and we talked through messages or whatever, and then you finally go and hang out with them in person at a car show, or you go to visit them or whatever at their shop, and they're all the way across the country or in a different country.
Literally telling the story about our one of our customers, Rick, was here, and we were talking about Grand National because that's coming up.
Yep.
And he's like, "Well, I don't really know anyone out there," and I was like, "You don't have to know anyone out there. We flew out and we've never met Piero or Lucky or Harrison. We hung out with them every night. Like we've been best friends since childhood, and it just clicked. We've known them all from the internet, but like we sat down, we had dinner with them, and we just after dinner we went back to Harrison's house and just hung out like we were old friends for hours on end.
And that's always I'll always say that I can usually tell pretty quickly when I meet people if you click and they're the same personality and stuff, and like. Those guys, our friend Matt that does Seattle Speed Shop.
Oh yeah, Matt too.
Matt was another one I talked to online, and we went and hung out with him. We did a podcast with him, and it was like he was just like it felt like you were friends for a very long time after meeting him, because it's like nobody's trying to pretend to be some facade,
I think social media has actually helped that because there's less to hide behind.
True.
Where like back in the day with the TV shows and the magazines, it was just what you could basically see on paper.
I think there's just some fakeness on the internet that people trying to, on the flip side, not to be negative about it, there are definitely guys that take photos of their garage in a certain angle to make it seem like they have a better garage or a cooler setup, or their stuff's, whatever, or be mysterious about where they're in some garage looking at a 32 Roadster, and they take a photo at a weird angle, and you're like, oh, that's my buddy. So, John. Everybody knows John. You're just trying to pretend to the internet it's some secret. So there's like some of that, but like when we met some of these different guys, it's just like they've been in it for a long time. All like those handful of people we're talking about, they've been in it for a while. They've all been friends. Like, we were hanging out with Pierre and Lucky and Harrison. Like those guys have been friends forever. So we were coming in their space, and it was just like there was no need to prove it. Like it was just another night hanging out, and they let us hang out with them, and they're just into it for the fun of it. And again, those guys are very much lighthearted, not taking it seriously type thing. And that's the stuff. Those are the people that I click with, because there's some people that are like, social media has created this thing where people want to act. They want to associate with people that are also a certain. It's been that way since the beginning of time. Poor people want to hang with rich people so they look like they're rich.
Yeah.
Guys with like subpar cars want to hang with the guys with the good stuff so that they're associated and people think that they're whatever. Mm-hmm. I want to go to the show where all the players are so that, and it's like for me, I've always just been like,
I just want to hang out and build hot rods.
Yeah, I just want to hang out and build hot rods. If I go to an event and I meet a couple people that are like-minded, I'm psyched. But I don't need to be there making sure I'm shaking hands with the dude that's taking a selfie with whoever that's a big name builder just so people think that I'm buddies with them.
Yeah.
Like the Winfield is probably in social media is probably the worst. That is the worst case of people trying to pretend like they're really good friends with a person that doesn't even know who they are.
His birthday every year, I always crack up on social media.
God, it's every person that has ever taken. Gene will take a selfie with anyone and sign anything. He's the nicest freaking guy.
Yes.
Anyone that ever will even. I like go the opposite way. I've hung out with Gene. We stayed at his place, and I still will be like, "Hey, Gene, remember me?" I'm the guy that like I assume that he doesn't remember me because he's Gene Winfield.
Yeah.
So these other people, like they met Gene one time in a metal shaping class in Ohio, and you took one selfie with him, and he signed your T-shirt, and now like.
Hate to break it to you, he does that every week. He did that every weekend for many years. You're just another dude that took a metal shaping class.
And it's cool it's totally cool that everybody is wishing him. That's their way of wishing him happy birthday on social media. It's just like there were a lot of drama that was happening in social media with Gene that was going on. Like everybody was all into the gossip and the talking about, and like nobody. It's just like it's kind of I don't like that side of it, but like he's a good example of like. People are trying to take the photos to act like they're really good friends with him because he did 2 classes at a shop in your town, and that doesn't mean like that. It's not gaining you anything.
No.
The people that know, and the people that are fooled by that sort of stuff, it doesn't matter anyways. Like, so I don't. That side of it I don't like, but I like the friend. When I was sitting back thinking, I'm like, the friends I've met through car stuff on the internet that are like really good friends is like our close group of friends that we talk and hang out with are almost all of them are through the channel or the internet. They're literally guys that found us. A number of them are people that found us or were following us on social media and literally just sent a message like, hey man, I dig what you're doing. Can I come by the shop sometime and like hang out or just, help out? And like organically those friends have become like our best friends and are like family to us. And like, those are just dudes that I didn't know them from anybody, but I do that with everyone. If some people show a genuine interest and want to come on a Sunday and hang out and help and just hang around, we've had a lot of people have come and gone that have tried to do that. And it's like we have some close friends, and that all brought us through the internet. Which is
it's funny.
Kind of cool, and it all came from social media. So I think that part of it is really good.
I think the internet also helped going back to hot rods. I think it's helped show that the hot rod doesn't need to be like a perfect show car.
Yeah.
I think because, with the magazine and the magazine era and, pre-internet, the magazine area and just car shows, like TV shows, it was always showing like perfect done, nice, perfect show cars and street rods. And I think the internet has brought back the era of just building cars to drive. I think people have always been doing that, but I think it's helped bring a resurgence of people just building a super simple hot rod just to drive.
Yeah, because I think more people with social media have an outlet to talk about why they're building something or what they're trying to do.
Or the cool events that are just about driving your vehicle.
Yeah, and social media, just through photos and the algorithm, you can get photos of a show in Iowa that looked really cool.
Yeah.
And is like your kind of people, and you're just like, man, I'm going to put my car in the trailer or jump in my car and go to Iowa next year. That looked like a fun event.
Yep.
And like, that's how a lot of these for me, that's the same as how we met some people, instances we were talking about of friends. Like I've gone to some events that were like that. I went to the Northeast Vintage Drags in Maine this past spring with Kate, and I went up with the Roadster and just hung out and went to swap meet. All the people there were all like the same mindset, the same kind of people, and it just felt like everybody was just hanging. Like we were all just a bunch of friends hanging out, and like whether I talked to you or I didn't talk to you, everybody got it. Everybody was like into the same stuff. Everybody was there. There was no attitudes or at least that I saw. Maybe there was, but
there's always one bad apple in the group.
I think also I wasn't super involved. I wasn't involved in the event. I just came as an anonymous spectator. So it was really cool to go to a different area and just hang out and look at cars and just be a normal person and enjoy, driving to the restaurant the one night and just hanging out. Like that stuff was really cool. And that event was a good example of like the internet made it look like a cool event. And I went and it was a cool event. It's a small event that's growing. But with that idea, like when I went there, it wasn't like I was like, man, I expected this to be bigger. It was like, this is pretty cool. Like it's real grassroots. And, I went to the first handful of Trog events and it felt the same way.
Relics Riots at the Gilmore, same way.
Yeah.
Saw photos on the internet like the Gilmore's awesome. A hot rod show at the Gilmore sounds even better.
Yeah, vintage trailers, like all those. Yeah, that's the Gilmore's, that Relics Riot, and all those. A handful of the guys I've talked to in that club have told us how like the Relics Riot used to be way bigger.
Yeah.
And then now it's kind of like shrunk down a little bit. But like most of the guys I've talked to said they actually like it more intimate like it is now. And it's the same way. You go, there's a bunch of people with vintage campers set up, camping and hanging out and grilling and drinking and just having a good time. And like, I think almost the days leading up to the actual show are more fun than the show itself because you can actually cruise around and talk to people. So like, that's another good one. So I think social media has helped, like you said, the events. It's really helped some of these small events kind of pop off because the internet, if you see photos of it, you're like, it makes more people want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I've heard from a lot of people, like the vintage drags, and then those guys just did those top secret drags in New York, like in the fall, and like everybody I talked to that went to that was like, man, it was such a good time. You got to go. Blah blah.
I mean,
blah.
the Hot Rod Hill Climb's a prime example of that.
Yeah, I wish
like when
I never
social
made it to
media
that. Yeah.
social media started to get big with Hot Rod, and it, like that event, I feel like really took off.
Yep.
Because people saw some cool photos of dudes like, because that town's really neat to begin with.
Yep.
And then Hot Rod's driving in the Rockies. It like that event blew up and went crazy.
Yeah, that event was really cool. It's sad that they kind of stopped it, but any of those type of events, you can generally tell that it's the right type of people, the right vibe, whatever, and that's what's helped with that. And I think I've tried to get better at. I've actually been shrinking social media, my personal social media, like Facebook, like my personal Facebook. I'm sorry, but if I've been deleting you off Facebook, if anybody gets mad, we aren't actually friends.
Yeah.
Like my personal Facebook is, I've been trying to separate my personal life from the IronTrap life. So like I've had a personal Facebook since Facebook started, and or early on in Facebook, and during my time at Eastwood and different places, I was just like, anybody would friend request me that was into old cars, or was a friend of a friend, I would accept the request. Well, it's gotten really bad in the past handful of years of people that are just oversharing or ranting or going overly political, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a super political person, so like, I just started realizing, I'm like, man, these are all these people. Like, I don't even know who these people are. So I've been every day. If you pop up on a post and you friend requested me 10 years ago, and we've never sent one message back and forth, and I don't know who the hell you are, and you're posting about whatever baby mama drama, you're deleted. I don't care.
There's been a couple times on road trips where I'm driving and you pulled up and you're like, I'm at like 2,500 friends. And then we'll be driving for a couple hours. You're like, well, I'm down to like 2,200. I deleted 250 people.
I'm way under that now.
Yeah, you're like way low. But
I'm
it's
like 1,000 or 900
you're
now.
like, I don't even know who this person is. And you like show, he's like, I don't know who this is.
Yes, I've been trying to make a break with social media as far as like, I actually been like following less people, trying to only see what I want to see, because like a lot of the stuff that starts to like bum me out or annoy me or make me angry is like I'm just following too many people on the internet. Like I don't like Instagram. I'm trying to like follow less people. You got to make you got to make a rule that you can only follow so many
Hot chicks.
because that just makes me. It just
Distraction.
It just distracts you. You're not getting anything done. So it's like you can follow like one or two, but like no. But the like just following so many like another thing is like brands, big corporations and companies, they shove the marketing down your throat and the posts, and it gets to be a bit much for me. So even when I worked at Eastwood, I had this like internal struggle because I was running the social media for a long time. They were like kind of yelling at me to post more, post 4 times a day, post this, do that, and I was just like, I'm the dude that like it gets super annoyed when I see a company posting 4 or 5 times a day and I don't want to see it. So like I always struggle with that of like posting too much or just being like,
if you haven't noticed, if you follow us on any form of social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, we really don't post that often.
And that is against the like Gary Vee and modern social media like experts.
Do you know where we do post a lot though? eBay and our website.
Yeah, we do post a lot on there, but I just tried to like limit the people I'm following, and also like when we're doing posts, try and make them more like, we don't need to post every freaking thing we're eating or every nut we turned or every bolt we turned, and like I think people need to figure out what works for them early on in social media. I used to do that a lot more because it was just my way of sharing what I was working on. Now I found with our YouTube, that's kind of how we share, and we give the cliff notes of what we're doing. But you just have to figure out what some people use social media for, just like it's like a blog for their car build, which is super cool.
I've been using mine for my house renovations.
Yeah, Mike's is pretty funny. So if you want to see somebody complain about their house,
bitch about their house, that's me.
That's Mike. But I've been trying to use social media a little less. as far as like scrolling and just looking at stuff. Cause I like, in the end of the day, it starts like bumming me out or gets me distracted or whatever. And I found the less people I follow or the people that I do follow are inspiring me, you know, like I've unfollowed a lot of like really talented metal fabricators and car builders and stuff because suddenly their life dramas start getting involved. And it's like those people don't realize that we're not following you to know about your baby mama drama.
It's my least favorite thing when people running a business put their apolitics on their business page because there's no need to involve that. And they're like personal drama stuff. It's like, I'm here because you build cool stuff. I'm not here to know what's happening in your personal life. That's why you have a personal social media and a business social media.
And that's where I've been trying to practice what I preach. And I'm trying to separate my personal Facebook because it's like family and you know, close friends or people we see at shows occasionally. But like I know you in real life, not in fake internet life. So, but that I noticed that helped me big time. Like I just was like following social media, and there were certain people I was following that like there was people I know in real life, and I was following them, and the way they post is like really passive aggressive all the time, or like passive aggressively shitting on other people that are into the same stuff, or nose in the air, and I'm like, kind of like annoys me and bums me out. So like I just unfollow those people. If I see that person in real life at a car show, and a lot of times those people are totally nice in real life, but I don't know why on the internet they're a different
so
way.
Many people have a split personality. They're one way on the internet, and we've had customers like that. They're like, they seem very aggressive when they're like messaging you and like dealing with you, and then you meet them in person and they're like super nice and like polite. It's like, this is very different than how you were acting on the internet when you were messaging us.
So so it's like some of those people close friends that I have to like unfollow because maybe their politics stuff is like a little too aggressive. I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying it's a little too aggressive. I don't want my feed, with people arguing about things.
I'm here for hot rods and boobs.
Yeah, hot rods, boobs, cute animals.
Oh, dogs, definitely dogs.
Dogs, cats, any cute creature is good. So, but I think the good side of the internet, the one thing I'll say with the build qualities of cars, I think the quality has gone up for the average Joe. That's the one thing I think social media has done a fantastic job, is it has spotlighted a lot of high-end builders showing the correct way to do things. Mm-hmm. So now the excuse back in the day was, well, they didn't know any better. So if you were, an 18-year-old kid and all you had was Hot Rod Magazine and your friend down the street that had an oxyacetylene torch, you didn't really know any better. So you were just doing what you could with what you have. And if they would have had the social media back then, have a dude tell them, no, the better way to do this is this, they would have done it. It's just that we have that now, so we're able to.
Man, if only they would have done that with rat rods.
I mean, some of those guys are building stuff that is safe. It's just a style I'm not a fan of. But like some of the people are using the term rat rod as an excuse to build something that's unsafe or shitty.
Yeah.
So like, I think what it's done though is I think the car hobby as a whole, whether it's drag cars or anything, it seems to me that the quality has gone up. It's also helped that like there's so many companies that are offering affordable tools, Eastwood, Harbor Freight, all these different companies that are offering like a TIG welder that's an affordable price. So now so many people can TIG weld that never had the chance because they were so expensive or hard to get. So like all of that stuff, now there's a million videos of people showing how to TIG weld. And like your average guy could start doing the better work. And that's what we try to show in some of our videos. People will sometimes comment and be like, well, that's not realistic. I can only MIG weld. Well, I'm showing you that TIG welding is better for sheet metal because you get a better finish. And, explain it to them. And it's like, I understand that's not what you can do, but there's no excuse. TIG welders are cheap enough. Yeah. There's enough information on the internet that you can do it. I'm all for like us turning the quality up and down, but like I'm not making my life harder by MIG welding a quarter panel in and it being all
wavy and junky.
So I have enough trouble with it being wavy and junky TIG welding. So it's hard enough. But I think that's the one good thing is social media has really like shared that. It's also like shared with the nostalgia stuff. it makes it more easy. You're more able to connect with people that, like, as far as the history of cars, the hard to find parts, and all that stuff makes it like we wouldn't have been able to find the history of the DeLorean Roadster, of the Schroll car, of like any of these cars we've had, if it wasn't for the internet and social media, like people sending us, like I got the hood back for the DeLorean Roadster because a guy that followed us on social media worked with the guy that had the hood, and he worked it all out. Literally everything was done just about through Instagram DMs, and then I met this viewer in person. He traded hoods, and like all that was done through social media. Like if it wasn't for that, like I can't imagine back in the day how much harder it was.
Oh,
It was
just
like
tracking down
history.
Yeah, it would have been impossible.
So I think that's what's like, it's speeding up how, and it's making people able to find the history of a car a lot quicker. So I can understand back in the day, like giving up on trying to find the history of a car, because guys spend years trying to find it, and you're like, you know what, I tried my best, I'm just going to do what I want with the car. Where now we're like, in 6 months you can track down the history of the car. There's all these people with historic photo archives, and like you post a photo of a car you found on your social media, and then somebody tags
Custom Rama, any of those great,
or Jimmy that has like all the hot rod dry lakes photos and stuff, and like suddenly Jimmy looks through his photos and boom, there's a photo from 1947 of it at the dry lakes, and now you know the number. He'll tell you he has the records of what engine the guy ran, how fast he went, blah blah blah, and now you know the history of your car. So like all that like social media stuff is huge. So even with us and other people, because now I'm getting it where people are hitting me up and go, hey, I know that you have XYZ part on the shelf. I just found one, but it's like missing parts. Can you send me photos of like what it's supposed to have? So like back in the day, if you found a rare part at a swap meet and you were the only guy you knew in
in your world,
how do you find that guy? It's so hard. So now it's like people just send a DM, and like I try to be super helpful with that. I'll literally walk up here, take 18 photos and take measurements and be like, this is what I have. Hopefully it helps you. And people have done it for us too, taking measurements and, giving us whatever. And that part of social media is amazing. Like it's helping the hobby and this history all stay alive, which is pretty cool. But, so I don't know.
I think like social media, like anything in life, drugs, alcohol, anything in excess can be bad. Mm-hmm. There's positives and negatives to everything. And with social media, you have to kind of throttle how much you're using it, posting it, looking at it, because anything in excess, you just go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and you have to pretty much get rid of your ego if you're going to participate on social media regularly. Do realize that you're putting yourself out there, and somebody's going to tell you that you suck. It's going to happen. When I first started at Eastwood and I started doing videos and doing posting and photos and stuff with them, really, really hard, because it was like everybody telling you how much you suck or your stuff's under a
People
microscope.
still tell us we suck all the time.
I know I suck. That's okay. It just hurts when people start telling you suck and you hadn't told yourself you suck yet.
Just remember, it's the internet. These people probably suck just as much as you do. They can say it behind a computer screen and not to your face.
So I don't think you have to learn how to get your ego out of the way. So there's plenty of times where we do stuff where we might cut a corner or maybe don't do something the correct way or don't wear the right safety gear or whatever, and we get ripped apart in videos even to this day.
We always wear safety glasses. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but we try and work around. I mean, we definitely sometimes will edit videos or things to avoid some excessive comments.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of times when stuff makes it in videos and people will call us out. And then, like, I'll literally comment in the video and say, you're right, I should have been. Or, you know what, I didn't do that because I was being lazy. So that's where...
It's just Mr. Steve. It's okay.
Steve's smashing on something. That does not sound good. But I think with social media, for me, and I think a lot of people, if you're kind of getting into all this, is decide what you want to get out of social media is probably the biggest thing. I know plenty of people that just use social media for Facebook Marketplace, and that's it. And
Yep.
that's great. If that's all you want to do, that's great. That's why I like me's trying to separate. Like I have a lot of friends on my personal Facebook that are like from other countries or old friends from, childhood or whatever. Like that's what I want my Facebook for, is like connecting with real, actual friends. And then the other end of social media, it's like I like posting what we have going with the cars and for our channel, but like the excessive scrolling and reading, I know I have to stop myself. You get tied in with like reading the comments or like Facebook groups. I try to not look at anymore because you get the like people arguing or
It's the worst.
just having a shitting, like just shitting on somebody or something or whatever. And it's like I try and not look at it at all because it gets me angry and annoyed. And then you just start going back to see what that person said, and it's like, what am I doing? I don't give a shit. I need to go out and work on my own stuff rather than looking at that. So that's like if you're getting bummed out about that stuff, you probably could audit your social media to correct it so that you're not, looking at those things or hide them, and it'll help big time. Mm-hmm. But that's some of our take on it. I think the number of social media accounts you have is also can be a little overwhelming, feeling like you have to check on this and that. And like I know TikTok is huge right now. Yeah. I like watching TikToks for other reasons, like skateboarding and
BMX
and cute girls dancing and cute animal stories. But like I don't really foresee us doing cutesy dances in the garage.
We post on TikTok very, very rarely.
We do it a little bit. We probably should do it more, but like in the end of the day for us, we're just only a handful of people, so we have to choose our time wisely, and posting on TikTok is difficult to do when we have so much other things to do. So and I think for again, what do we want to get out of social media? I don't know if the time invested is currently going to give us the payback that is needed.
That's why we have to start doing the dancing.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll start getting paid.
Then we'll start selling more T-shirts.
Yes.
Or we need a very attractive female that could do dances in our T-shirts.
If you'd like to apply, send us an email, IronTrapGarage.com.
Yeah, send us an email.
Attach photos.
Yeah, if you want to do cutesy dances in front of flatheads or hot rods,
let us know.
Kate
definitely hasn't listened this far into the podcast.
I don't know if she'll even care that much. if she vets the person, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we try and choose that. So that's why you'll see we stick like we're not on Twitter or X or whatever it is now. We just do Instagram, YouTube, a little bit of TikTok just because it's kind of necessary. Our Facebook is just like kind of everything regurgitated. Yep. And then we do our IronTrap finds on Instagram, which I've been doing for a million years, which we treat like a virtual swap meet. We just post a handful of things for sale. First person to comment that wants it gets it, and it's pretty fun. We were doing like live stuff more earlier in the channel, and we just got overwhelmed. Also, we didn't have a good steady internet signal, so
that may change soon. So we might bring lives back occasionally.
Yeah, I did enjoy doing the lives.
They were a lot of fun. I think we started doing them too often, where they became not as fun. But I think we did like 2 or 3 or 4 a year. We were doing it like every month.
Yeah, and they weren't. We were having problems with the internet signal and stuff, so people were getting annoyed because the sound was terrible.
Yeah.
And it was cutting in and out. So like, I think if we get the technology side of it down, we've played with the idea of doing like live. Like, I think it would be neat to do a live feed of Steve. You could just tune in and watch Steve hit his head on the lift and hammer on shackle right now and drink coffee.
Definitely hit his head at least 5 times.
We might put the live on and not tell Steve, so it'll just be like it'll be filming Steve with the live feed. It's all the stuff that we see every day that we laugh our asses off. So you get to see it too. It's just like him searching around looking for the wrench he just set down that's in his pocket.
The other day I was working. Him and I were working next to each other, and I kept losing tools. And Matt's like, "That's because you're next to Steve. He does the same thing." I'd set a wrench down. I'm like, "Where did this go?"
Yeah, it just rubs off on you. You're just near him, and all of a sudden you lose your memory. You just don't have a memory anymore.
Poor Steve.
But it would be cool to, potentially do a live feed. Like one of the things I thought would be cool, and I've always thought this would be neat to do, and it's just hard to pull off. But like if we were going to be chopping a car, and the next 3 days we're going to be chopping a car, we just set up a camera with a live feed, and it's just, you can just tune in and tune out. Like we get it that it's not going to be like the most exciting the whole time, but it'd be kind of cool. Like you could just be a fly on the wall and check in, and
we could make it happen.
And yeah, I mean, we definitely could do it. It's again, one of those things that's difficult to, our internet, we got to get our internet situation. The garage is like a dungeon.
Yes.
So we have very poor internet when the doors are shut and everything's closed up.
We were sitting in the back corner of the shop right now, and I have 0 cell phone service.
Yeah, Mike doesn't know what's going on with the outside world. But
we're working on it. One of my goals for the next 6 months is to get hopefully a Starlink set up and get Wi-Fi and get everything, because the building next door, I need Wi-Fi to print labels and do business stuff, and it's currently a dungeon.
Yeah, so we're going to have to do some of that, which will help us because then we could potentially live stream. So that would be really neat to be like, hey, we're swapping the engine, or we're firing the 33 with the Arden for the first time. Make sure you come by and watch the live. And
yeah.
It would just be a supplemental thing we could do that would be fun for the channel. And once we get the technology side of it going, I think it'll be easy for us because we don't have to like edit it. We just film it, and it is. And the nice thing for us is our channel is so real that I don't give a shit about doing a live. Like there's a lot of people on social media. Again, if you're kind of putting this, doing stuff in the shadows to make it look better than it is, or like everything we do is exactly as you see it. My work is just as shitty on the internet as it is in person, and so therefore we can do a live, and I don't have to worry about it. We show us like trying to start an engine, and one of the spark plug wires we forgot to put on, or it backfires or whatever, and it's like, so we could show all that in the live because we show it anyways in a recorded version. So there's nothing, you're just as a viewer going to have to sit through us doing it. Maybe we left the spark plug wires off for 20 minutes.
Angrily typing in the live chat, the spark plugs.
They're right there. And it might help us because we could look at the chat like, hey, Steve, the viewer XYZ
spark plugs off in number cylinder 3 according to the comments.
You're like, shit, how do we not see that? But so some of that stuff I'm excited for social media, that with the internet and social media getting better, you're able to do the live streaming. I know a big thing I've been seeing more of that I think will be cool. I think the hot rod world was kind of ahead of the curve on it, is you're seeing these people doing like the live unboxing, the live shopping.
Yeah.
So Gary Vee's been talking about that a little bit in some of the stuff I've listened to recently. Like I'm starting to see that more where people are doing like live selling. And it's been going on for a while, but it's not been as smooth. But like the live during 2020, it was like a trend to do a live swap meet from your own personal garage or whatever. So like we toyed with it and did it at Hershey 2 years ago, and it worked pretty good. Part Swapper, Mike, he's been doing it forever, and they're very successful with doing that at different guys' garages around the country. It's pretty cool. So like I think that would be a cool thing to start seeing more often. I think we've toyed with the idea of doing like we get one of these big estates and we do these unloading videos for a video. Well, what if we did a live unloading the truck live also while we're filming the video? And if some dude types in, hey, what about XYZ? We could literally be like, oh yeah, here it is.
$100 plus shipping.
Yeah, whatever. And the dude says, yeah, I'll take it. It would be kind of fun because I would enjoy watching somebody unload the truck live and see all the stuff. But then like to get that first shot at that good item would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I'd like to try for us for social media. That's like for us, like doing that, I feel like would be more to our viewers' interest than posting a TikTok that's trying to skew to a younger crowd than what we generally do. So now TikTok's doing live stuff that I think, that supports that idea even more so. But I think it would be pretty cool to start doing some live stuff. So we'll keep we're evolving much more slowly these days compared to when I was younger with social media, but like it's still super fun. It's really neat to share your life and your hobby with people and them enjoy it. So that part of it I really like. I think it's really neat. So at the end of the day, find what you want to do with social media and stick to that. And if
Yeah.
part of social media is making you sad, angry, annoyed, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's super easy, and your life will be easier and better.
Right, Moondog?
That's what Moon says. Moon doesn't like social media, so that's why he doesn't have
Yes.
any social media accounts, as much as people have asked for it. Moon is
He's
not.
camera shy. Whenever he's laying cutely in front of a car, as soon as you pull your phone out, he gets up and walks
Yeah,
away.
he's like, no pictures, please.
So
that's our little fireside chat without
Yeah.
the fire about social media. If you have any thoughts on it, or I should say thoughts on future videos similar to this, or our podcasts or videos, shoot us an email, irontrapgarage@gmail.com.
or send us a message on social media as well. Whatever's easiest for you to contact us.
Yeah, so we'll try and do more of these, and we'll be getting we're hoping in the future to start maybe getting some people to come in with us and do a podcast, because I think it would be neat to get a third person's input.
Or just not me.
Yeah.
Just another person.
Just another person, maybe. That's not Mike.
Yes.
Maybe. So, yeah, if you're interested, or if we're traveling a big show, we might contact you and see if you'd like to do a BS session. So thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Hopefully you thought it was interesting.
Yep. And go to
If you
YouTube.
didn't-
There's a video out today. So don't forget, there's also a hot rod related YouTube video out today. So go watch that as well.
Watch the video. If you didn't like the podcast, watch the video. Hopefully it's better.
Yes. See you guys.
All right. See you guys.